Hello everyone, welcome to Raising Vibrations and welcome back to the main asteroids video series. And today I'm going to be just going through, as I said, the main asteroids, and we're on Juno at this point. This whole entire video series is in a playlist, so there's no need to actually watch it in any sort of order, but it does begin with Ceres, and I did do Vesta. So this is part 3, and we're going to be discussing Juno here. All right. Okay, so Juno is this symbol in your birth chart. That's what it looks like. It looks like the scepter, or basically a scepter. It's asteroid number 3. And for any of you that hasn't by now managed to get your birth chart up and running or know how to cast the chart, I highly recommend the video, which is going to come up at the top over here. And it says, create your natal chart. I've specifically created for anybody that wants to do that. Go create your birth chart and then come back to this video, and then you'd be able to actually put in the asteroids to see where it is in your own birth chart itself, okay? All right, so Juno in the birth chart, okay? This is about relations and relationships. And for many of us on the planet, I know, actually I'm really uncertain about that right now. I thought I knew. It is in Aries. Anyway, I was thinking that it must have been Eros, maybe. That's in Aries for quite a lot of people because it moves slowly. But anyway, so Juno is in your birth chart, and it represents the relationship you have to yourself and to obviously relationship to others. So it is the goddess of love. Okay, this is the process of how we actually interact with relationships on a more intimate level, and of course also the way that we actually feel like we create love within relationships, that unity, that sense of acceptance, that sense of vulnerability, that a feeling of how to be of service in relationships. Remember that when you're dealing with relationships, you're always dealing with the archetype of learning about yourself through another person, because everything that it is that you are representing in the relationship is always going to be reflected back to you. And so the asteroid of Juno plays this role within our consciousness, and as of course our stories, where we learn to understand equality. Okay, we learn to understand balance and fairness. And of course this is a Libra archetype, but Libra is more about extremes, where the asteroid of Juno is more about the way that you actually show up in relationships. It's like your natural way of wanting to be of service and to create balance and harmony. So it can play out as two ways. In fact, you can actually experience deep resentment that comes through your Juno because of your sense of wanting to be devotional in relationships. As I said, again, when you're dealing with relationships, you're also dealing with having to sacrifice sometimes some of your own needs for another's. And this is what Juno represents. It's like, how do you go about doing that? What type of story do you play out when you're applying your Juno to the situation? Say Juno's in Aries, for instance. There's that sense of inspiring the other to feel the need to follow their special purpose. This is the way that you represent that love in the relationship. How do you show up in that place? How would you want to be treated? Do you want to also have that ability to feel like somebody's supporting you in your feeling of special purpose and destiny and so on and so forth? So it plays that role of really recognizing that devotion, but at the same time, resentment can come from the experience, because if you're not feeling like there's a sense of equality or balance regarding that, then there can definitely, as I said, that feeling of scorned, the woman scorned basically, which I know from, watching it out there in the world, it's not a fun experience. So interesting archetype, very fascinating. I would highly recommend checking it out in your birth charts as well, and exploring it further. And especially if you're wanting to understand the way that you operate in relationships. Of course, if you're somebody that maybe has Pluto in the 7th house, or maybe Venus in Libra or Mars in Libra, for instance, it would be highly recommendable. Okay. Fantastic, everyone. Thanks so much for watching this video series. Don't forget to check out the next one. Other than that, hit that like and subscribe button, and have a fantastic day. Take care. Bye-bye.